G'day! This video is going to discuss 3 different types of lilo or air mattress that you can use for paddling down a river. It's going to have a look at different hand paddles so that you can paddle more comfortably. It's going to have a look at different paddles that you can get, including one for $15 that weighs 400 grams. It's going to look at some really cheap raft options, some $50 raft options and slightly more upmarket versions. I'll refer you in the comments to alpackas, which cost more than $1,000, and I'll also perhaps be having a look at some of the old-fashioned 10-foot rafts which were used back in the 1980s and compare their safety and comfort and so on with the modern alpackas. Okay, so why would you do this? Well, look, I like rivers. I like, for example, the Colo or the Shoalhaven, the Wallamai in New South Wales. I like the Denison in Tasmania, or the Murchison, although that's now drowned, or the Franklin. The trouble is, to get into a lot of these rivers, you need to walk for a few hours, a few days before you can get there, which means a canoe is just too heavy to carry. You're going to have to use something inflatable like lilos or rafts, or even a combination of the two. For example, in the Denison we had 2 rafts, 4 lilos. By the time we'd eaten most of our food, we'd gotten into the really big rapids down at the end. The only trouble, though, is that the standard sort of lilos that bushwalkers in Australia have used for decades, you can't get them, or at least if you can, they're only online, and I don't know what the quality is like. So I've shopped around for immediately available alternatives. Look, here's the ancient history. Still currently available. I've noticed them online at snowies.com.au. And these are rubberized cotton. This weighs about 2.5 kilograms, so it's a heavy old thing. It's about 2.5 feet wide, 6 foot long. It's got a separate pillow, I think. Yeah, this has got separate pillows compared to the body. I'm not really fond of them, never was, on account, not only are they heavy, but I reckon that snags are often enough going to get caught in the cotton and then go into the rubber underneath, which is what's keeping the air in. And I was really fond of this 1.4 kilogram nylon lilo, which is really shiny. So sharp sticks, and you don't often get amazingly sharp rocks because the water tends to wear it smooth, but even sharp stuff tends to skate over it. So that has had around about 25 days over the occasional rock and sharp stick, and it's never been punctured. Again, I can't buy those. I can't find it anywhere. I wish I could. What you can get for $10 or $15 from Kmart or Big W are things like these PVC vinyl mattresses. They've got this flopped top. They're very, very buoyant, so that whereas, for example, with this one I'd have my backside sitting in water all the time, and I'd be having to rely on my very well waterproofed multi-day backpack to give me extra buoyancy. With these ones, it'll take the weight of 15 kilograms of backpack and 82 kilograms of me, you can see that in an uploaded video, without any of me actually getting wet. They're comfortable, they're fun, they weigh 1.5 kilograms, they pack down to be pretty small. They've the Jackaroo version that I'm looking at here. Where is it? So the Jackaroo version has got this rather nice screw valve. Comes in 2 parts. You have to take off the square part for inflation, and you can just puff that off, and to deflate it you take off the round part. Okay, so 2-part valve there. And it's made of PVC, so it's going to be puncturing pretty easily. But the good news is that you can get this stuff from Coghlan's and this is paper-backed repair patch, which has got some sort of adhesive on the back of it. And in around about, I don't know, 3 minutes, in about 5 minutes, you can have found where your hole is, have wiped it more or less dry, and cut out something to size, and hopefully by that time it's dry enough that you can then put it on. And it's not going to be a perfect seal. You can get this off with your fingernail. You can get it off with your fingernail, but it'll get you limping along for the rest of the day. And you can also use this air stop. And look, I'll discuss that separately in a separate video, but the point I'm making is that there is repair technologies available so that you can kind of get by with the fact that this vinyl is not very robust. Plus, if you've got a large enough party, then you can have 1 or 2 backup inflatables, just in case you have a catastrophic rip where you have the entire side taken out and you haven't got enough patch material and glue to repair it. Although that can happen, I suppose, with any sort of raft. Much more likely to happen with a cheap $10 PVC airbed. But anyway. Okay, so those are your different airbed options. Your paddles. This is cut from the side of a 5 or a 6 litre container. The idea is that you just, I don't know, paddle away like that. It's sort of nicely beveled. It's quite effective. It's almost as good as those yellow paddles that I've got. Not quite as comfortable, but still good enough. If you haven't got that, this is cut from the side of a 4 litre oil container. These are the bases of 4 litre ice cream containers. It'd be nicer to have something a bit bigger, but they'll get you by. And the ice cream lids will kind of do. So the arrangement is slit, 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 slit. I use a continuous piece of string, flat string, and there's this particular knot here, not there, not there. The most important thing about any hand paddle is you have to be able to immediately get out of it. If you come off your rapid in a grade 2 or a grade 3, you need to have immediate use of your hands so that you can make sure that your head doesn't get forced under by the water. Okay, or alternatively, as I said, these yellow paddles, they're really nice and comfortable. It's not as large, the blades aren't as large as I like, although this particular length here is perfect for sitting on an airbed. I got that from this $15 raft from Kmart or Big W. So this is the Bestway raft. I've taken out a couple of the lengths of the shaft and I've screwed them together. The thing weighs 400 grams. The yellow blades unscrew. You can see that you can unscrew that shaft in the middle as well. So it's not strong. I'm not going to be using that for pushing off rocks, but it'll do. It's kind of okay. With this raft, what I've done is that I've cut out the bottom, so now I've got a 0.5 kilogram boogie board, which can be, I think, a useful backup, like for canyoning or incredibly rough scrub. There's something to be said for turning your multi-day backpack into a lilo. I did that going down the Catherine Gorge. I was using these particular hand paddle. I've lost its mate. A certain person lost it. And yeah, chugged along fast enough using 3 6-litre wine casks blown up for extra buoyancy. But having something like that for extra buoyancy can be kind of useful. Yep. This particular, the Bestway, the whole thing weighed 2.1 kilograms. Instantly, I give you a link to a guy who used one for about 5 days going down the Fitzroy River. This is a wave zone, cheapie, and that cost I think $15 or $20, 1.7 kilograms. I don't think I'll ever use it. I think I'll just use these lilos. They're just more comfortable, but you know, it's kind of interesting. I'm interested in these Sevylor rafts. Now this particular Colossus cost $49. Perhaps one nasty problem with it is that you actually need to have some sort of pump, because they've got a valve. You can see there's the outside valve there, but for the inside donut, the valve is down quite low, close to the floor, and it would be difficult to blow it up with your hand. Sorry, with your mouth. I've just realised what I might do if I was going to have to walk in a long way, is just carry this tube with me so that I can inflate it. I can inflate it there. Okay, problem solved. Okay. This has been quite productive for me, doing this video. If you've got a few things to blow up at the riverhead though, and it's just a day trip or something, then carrying that does make life easy. Alpacka they describe these roll-up pumps that you can use, which would be even better. Okay, speaking of alpacas, if you've got more than $1,000, then you can buy one. Go and have a look at the links. Go and have a look at the YouTubes. A complaint about them, though, is I do kind of like having something which is like a dodgem-car. Even this, I reckon it'd be okay for grade 3. It's a bit iffy, I haven't tried that out. I have taken something like this on a really tough scrub bash for just a single day. I was pushing it through ferocious scrub. My mates were actually using foam boogie boards because there was so much puncturing that they were expecting punctures, and the scrub was really nasty. They were using lilos and boogie boards. I reckon lilos and a backpack with that inside it could have been a nice alternative. But I pushed this through and eventually got a couple of pinpricks and a 3mm rip. And this air stop has fixed it up really nicely. As a permanent sort of fix. Using this particular one, what you do is, because the bow is more buoyant, you perch your backside up on the bow and you paddle the thing backwards. If it was a grade 2 or grade 3 rapid, what I do is drop my backside down here onto the floor and brace my feet in there, pack between the legs. You've only got the 2 tie-in points, unfortunately, which is quite a limitation of it. But the thing which really is startling me is that I was being not completely gentle with this, taking it over some of the sharp quartzite embedded in the conglomerate rock, and I could see at the end of the day there was kind of scrapes down the bottom but no punctures. Now this makes me a little bit interested in the slightly larger and oval shaped caravelles, the caravelle models. And particularly I know they've got super-caravelles which have got heavier fabric. So if anyone's got any feedback as to how well those perform in terms of being puncture resistant, please share the information. Like I say, the fact that you've got this sort of technology here and this sort of technology here means that I think they could be viable. And the thing is, I mean, I'd love an alpaca if I had a spare a spare grand for every member of the family. But I also like the stability that you have of these old-fashioned rubber duckies, the 10-foot rafts. You can see pictures of these in archival stuff of the battle for the Franklin River, seeking to have that not being dammed. And especially using this sort of paddle here. This is a plywood blade. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 slits, and then radiator hose clips, metal radiator hose clips, fixing it to this 10-foot piece of dowling, hardwood dowling, 30mm from memory. with about 6 inches poking out beyond the blades at either end. It was great for going down, the grade 3 and the grade 4 rapids that you have on the Franklin. And because the ratio of these is probably almost about 1 to 2, it's like going down rapids with a whopping great big dodgem-car wrapped around you. And the alpackas, I'm sure, are going to be much nicer to paddle because they're narrow, but they also tip over more easily. And you tip over too many times in a grade 3, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 rapid, you will eventually get stuck and drowned, which is not good. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I reckon it's worthwhile considering some of these smaller options, with the Sevylor range, some of the 2 and 3 person caravelles, I reckon could be a safe, cheap, reasonably lightweight option for multi-day trips. This particular one weighs 2.9 kilograms. And in the meantime, for the shorter trips, I mean, I've yet to do anything more than a couple of days on grade 1 rapids with this airbed, but for that it's a heck of a lot of fun. And for a $10 airbed, a $15 paddle, and $7 plus $3 plus $10 shipping, and maybe a $7 bit of contact cement and more patch than you can poke a stick at. I've cannibalised the rest of this Bestway raft, so I've got it as patching material. And you're in business for some good cheap fun. Cheers.